Hey there, Saber fans and custom builders. SpaceWindu here from the fx-sabers forum and civilizesabers.com. I'm going to show you today how to cut a KR pixel stick. A KR pixel stick is a rigid neopixel strip that has neopixels on both sides, and they come in about 34.5 inch length, which means your blade is going to come out to be like 35 or 36 inches long. I'm going to show you how to make that shorter. So the first thing we're going to do is get our Dremel tool, and I'm going to get the cutting wheel on this. What you want to put on your Dremel is one of the metal cutting wheels. Here I have a thin cut metal wheel. Dremel sells a few different kinds of metal cutting wheels. This just happens to be a thin cut wheel. Now we're going to be using the high speed setting on the Dremel. What you're going to need is your mask. So everybody should have a mask handy, and just put that on so you don't inhale any of the dust that's going to be flying up from the metal, the copper, and the plastic, the LED material that the KR pixel strip is made up of. So what we're going to do here is going to take our KR pixel stick. I'm going to decide where I want to cut it. And what I'm going to do is I am going to cut through the LED. Right about here, I'm going to make a cut. And I'm going to end up cutting into LEDs because, as you can see, the KR pixel stick has staggered LED. So you can't find a good seam to make your cut, but you want to decide where you're going to make your cut and measure that out, and then we're going to take our Dremel cutting wheel to this right now. Now, as you can see, the end is rounded so that it can fit inside the parabolic blade tip from the custom saber shop, and some of the LEDs can shine through the tip. So what I'm going to try to do is, once I make my cut, we are going to try to shape it so it's not just quite a square or rectangle shape at the end with points. Maybe I'll try to curve it a little bit, but first let's make our straight cut. I've got a marker here. I'm going to make a little line where I do want to cut. I'm going to cut right about here, perhaps right through the edge of that LED. Okay, we made it through the KR pixel stick. I have my bottom bit already wired onto a chip so that I can test it now that I've cut it to make sure that everything works. But first, let me just try to make this edge a little less square. So as you can see, that's where I cut it. And I'm going to just try to round that off a little bit. Now I do smell a bit of material, a bit of dust that came from this, so be sure you are wearing your mask. Now let's go and test this one. Here's my tester. I've got a few blade projects. I'm just going to move out of the way while I test my KR strips. Okay, so I've got my blade wired to the PCB, the first one I cut. Let's see how this one works. Oh, great. Yeah, I knew we wouldn't have that very last LED lighting up because I sawed right through it.
There's the red. I'm going to turn it over and make sure the other side has all the colors in every LED. Very nice to the tip. That one's to the tip. I didn't have to saw through that LED.
I am King Jarrus, Jedi.
Oh wow. Okay, they all look great. That's going to be perfect. Now I'm going to do this to another KR pixel strip for you right now, just so we can do it twice together and so you feel more comfortable when you go ahead and do it yourself. So again, I've wired this up, I've tested it, and now we're going to make our cut. Let me make a mark here with my Sharpie. I'm going to make a short blade out of this one. I'm going to make like a 10-inch blade out of this one. Let's cut right through that LED right there. Trying to only destroy one of the LEDs, not the one on the other side if possible. Now it helps if you have a fresh cutting wheel. Now let's trim this a little bit. Now there's a lot of particulates that came off of this. So again, be sure you're wearing particulate protection. But as you can see, let's see if I can get a close-up view of this, that I rounded the tip a little bit, and it's going to fit really nicely. It's going to fit really nicely into the parabolic blade tip. We'll have a couple LEDs actually shining into there. That's going to work out great. So let's test this one as well, make sure they both work. And we should have light all the way to the end on one side. See how this one works. Oh yeah, there we go. Very nice. I'm going to try the other side, make sure that what I think is working works. Yeah, the LED I sawed through is not working obviously, but every other LED is. I hope this video helped you be able to saw through your own KR strips and able to make a blade shorter than a 34.5 or 35 or 36 inch blade, whatever you want. You can do it. Here today I made like a 25 inch blade and I made a 10 inch blade, so it's just really up to whatever you want to do, and you can do it with the KR strip. It makes it a lot lighter, makes the blade a lot lighter when you take a little bit off. I took about 4 inches off of a KR pixel stick, and I was very happy with the weight at that point, whereas the full length KR strip I feel like is a little bit too heavy for me for a blade, a little bit too long. So I like to take off a little bit. It's up to you. Now you have that option. If you have a cutting wheel, high-speed cutting wheel, either a Dremel or some other brand, use that metal cutting wheel and you should have no problem getting through the KR pixel stick, and then just have a method of testing it before you actually build your entire blade. Try to figure out a way to test it. Here I've got a tester I made up. Not everyone's going to have that, but see if you could, maybe make some kind of bench tester for yourself, a Profi board or a neopixel based board outside of a lightsaber hilt that you can wire together to a battery. Alright, so thanks again for taking a look at this video today. Come back for more lightsabers, savor the moment. Join the channel if you want to support SpaceWindu channel. There's different levels from $1.99. We're going to get extra content all the way up to higher tiers that will get you multiple blades per year, multiple neopixel blades per year. So check out membership options on SpaceWindu channel. Be sure to subscribe here if you're not subscribed already. And I appreciate you watching. Have a great day.
I have something here for you. It's the weapon of a Jedi.